Avery, whose show is this? The Lakers have made no gripes whatsoever about saying that win mattered a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
You know, JJ Redick saying how, he told the guys, hey, get ready because we're going to war. And LeBron riding around with his top down today in his car, saying how great the world is and all that, or life is and all that stuff. That's how I felt the last 48 hours or so too, so
Yeah.
LeBron and me, simpatico.
Right.
But like my thing is, over the years, it became like the thing that you said was, oh, it's just one of 82. Every game is the same. They all count for the same, this and that and the other. And they like teams were reluctant to acknowledge their opponent unless it was like Lakers Celtics or Cavs Warriors or so on and so forth, the big time rivalries that these teams have,
Charlotte
although
Hornets versus the
other
Lakers.
teams, yeah, Charlotte Hornets against the Lakers. Well, I was going to say, like, other teams did kind of say that games against the Lakers do matter a little bit more.
Yeah.
They celebrate those wins a little bit more.
Sure.
But the Lakers were always kind of reluctant to dip into those waters. And here's the thing. I'm going to pull the mic nice and close so that y'all can hear me clearly. That whole one of 80, 82 nonsense was such bullshit. Like, it was always so stupid. You'd have these teams that had just played in the playoffs before, the year before. They would play the first time that they would match up the next game. It was clear that, like, looking at the guys at warm-ups, that like they were taking this one a little bit more seriously. And then whoever like won was like, now, hey, just another night, and the team that lost was like definitely saying it was just another loss. Meanwhile, like Chris Paul is going down the hallways in underneath Staples Center to try to get at the Houston Rockets. I just think, or vice versa, whatever it was. No, he was a Rocket going after the Clippers. Yeah.
Yes.
And they sent
Trevor
Clint
Ariza,
Capella as the Trojan horse.
Yes.
And so, like, I don't know. I'm really happy, Raj, that the Lakers just said it, admitted it. Like, yeah, they've kicked our ass the last few years. It really mattered to us that we won this one. Like, Matt texted me today. He was like, yeah, it's kind of crazy to see the Lakers take this thing so serious. It's like, yeah, I'm glad they're showing pride in the fact that they beat the crap out of the team that's beat the shit out of them for the last 5 years or whatever it's been.
Right. And to me, what's surprising, like, Anthony, this was an ABC game. Like, this is not no normal game. This is a game that the whole NBA decided this game matters. Right. And that's why, like, the analysis after this game was a little bit surprising to me, coming out that, Denver, in my opinion, on the 500 rewatches that I've, already done of that game. And I'm so excited. And I'm kind of glad I wasn't there to talk about it right after, because the high was so much. I'm not sure I could have, eloquently spoke about the game in a way that we're going to do tonight. But that was an ABC game. Luka Doncic's real debut, right? They played some, bad teams before then, but it was clear this was being shown as, this is prime time Luka Doncic versus his buddy Nikola Jokic, and these two teams have enough history. And again, when you rewatch the game, it didn't, to me, feel like, like, obviously the Lakers are going harder, I guess, if you want to kind of measure that. But Jamal Murray was talking shit during the game. Like, yeah, Jokic obviously was doubled and wasn't able to be effective in that way. When they made their run, they made like an 8-0 run to start the third. So no, that was great. I'm not sure if the Lakers got blown out last night. Does JJ Redick still come out and say I didn't sleep before this game, or I decided I took 2 days to game plan for it? Who knows if that information comes out? But it was clear this game mattered, and the 82 game regular season is such a war of attrition that it's just impossible to have games that matter every night. It just is. There's going to be games against Charlotte, against the Blazers, against the Utah Jazz.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right. So these games that you do get a marquee matchup between Lakers and the Nuggets that has really kind of stemmed a rivalry, which I'm excited to talk about. But no, it was cool. JJ Redick, came out and said we game plan for this. and people are kind of taking that as well in a playoff. Like this is a playoff game. Like this is just playoff vibes from the onset, from the crowd, from the
Yeah.
energy, from the way that was played. Luka
The
Doncic
Nuggets tweeted
screaming.
out like like what other teams do the Nuggets tweet out? Different matchup, same whatever,
Oh
same
yeah,
vibes and all that shit. Like they don't tweet that about every team. They
hundred
don't they don't
percent.
send that about the Lakers, or they say that about the Lakers. They don't say that about like the Clippers. They don't say that about like like the Rockets. They don't care.
No,
There's like Mike Malone specifically likes beating the Lakers, right?
as he should. That's a big time thing on his resume to say like I've beat LeBron James twice
Yeah,
and the Lakers, right, as a franchise. It's funny how many intertwined relationships these teams have, Anthony, because we haven't like the Russell Westbrook part of it hasn't even been on the ledger of when I'm watching people
yeah,
analyze this. Russell Westbrook leading their team in shot attempts. That's not a coincidence to me. Like he did that
yeah.
against the Lakers. It's just so fascinating. That was a game that the Lakers 100% wanted. And I'm like, I'm not really there on Denver didn't try or treated it as,
No.
like they were going for a 10-game win streak, which they've never had in their franchise history, or I think they've had it like 40, 50 years ago, whatever it is. That was a big time game, and the Lakers got a big win in Denver.
Yeah, my larger point here is that like
It's
all
cool
of
to
these
see.
NBA
Yeah.
players have basically become so brand aware, right?
Mhm.
And they try to appear so cool when like really like cool is a thing that you can't try for. It's just going to happen, right?
Sure.
You look at those commercials with Anthony Edwards. That guy is like effortlessly cool.
Mhm.
And you compare that to like a Carl Anthony Towns who talks in like 5 different voices. He is really, really trying to be cool, but he is not cool. He's incapable of being cool. And
Mhm.
again, like I'm a 38-year-old dude who has a podcast.
Just say
Trying to be
aura,
cool,
Anthony. You got to
you
say
know.
aura once. You got to say
I,
aura one
I
time.
cannot do it. I watched George. I love you, George. I watched you say aura, and I was like, no, we're too old to be
That was
saying aura.
great. I love that. Shout out George Sedano for doing that. That was
I love
awesome.
George. He's the best. And like Shay liked it too. So kudos to George for getting that moment. He's
Mhm.
better at that than I am because I could not even I couldn't even consider saying aura. Like I hear myself saying aura, and it sounds in my ears like aura. like it just
That
I'd
is
much
not what
rather
I
talk.
hear.
I'd much rather hear orca. Like
Okay.
I'd much rather say orca and talk about orcas than auras. But yeah, I look at like the kind of move. Like Kobe was I think kind of effortlessly cool, right? And now he was cool in like a homicidal maniac kind of way, but he was like it was still like you would hear him talk, and aside from early in his career when he was clearly emulating MJ, like as he got older and more comfortable in his skin, that was my favorite version of Kobe.
Mhm.
And he had no problem saying like I remember I think it was Jalen Rose said in that 81 point game that most guys, when they would be scoring 81 points, they'd be talking all kinds of shit.
Right. He didn't say a
You're
word.
mine tonight. I own you. Better double, better triple, better quadruple. Fuck it, quintuple if you want. Like it. They would be saying all kinds of stuff, and he was like, Kobe was dead silent that game.
Yeah.
Didn't utter a word. And then I think a couple years later, Kobe was like, I only talk to guys that I like. I didn't really like Jalen. And Jalen admitted to spraining Kobe's ankle on purpose in the finals. And I think that was
Trying to.
something that
Yeah.
Kobe no, he actually did. He actually did sprain his ankle in the Indiana series.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
And that's what made that one performance where like Kobe does the like everybody calm down, I got this thing.
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
he did that. He had that moment on a sprained ankle. It was incredible.
mhm.
But like the Kobe had no problem saying this game matters a little bit more to me. This matchup matters a little bit more to me. Ruben Patterson doing the whole like Kobe stopper thing. Nah, I'm gonna fuck that guy up. Actually, I like the whole Allen Iverson quote unquote rivalry that they had over the years. And Kobe said, like, I studied great white sharks to figure out how to guard Allen Iverson,
Yeah.
and I think like, that to me is what has always resonated to me. And I've always found it really annoying when players was like, oh, this is just one of 82. This game doesn't matter as much. I remember when like Paul Pierce tried to do that after the Lakers beat the Celtics on a Christmas Day game, where it was like, God, I hate you. Like, I can't stand you. Of
Yeah.
course it matters. Like
Uh,
you were talking shit the whole game. And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like that the Lakers said that this mattered. And I also really like that the Nuggets seemed like, a little extra pissed at how that game went, because they know like they've really enjoyed fucking up the Lakers over the last few years.
Yeah, yeah, and it was surprising to hear Mike Malone post game say, we got out coached. Obviously he went through the effort
Yeah.
lane as well, but saying like outright we got out coached. Jokic was asked about their win streak and kind of played it off as,
After
maybe we're
saying,
not
man, I really hope they don't fire Darvin Ham.
Oh, don't do that. That's not nice. Let Darvin enjoy Milwaukee in peace with Doc Rivers. But no, that was incredible. And I just want to connect this because you mentioned Kobe and you mentioned kind of the previous greats that
Got
would
myself there.
that would uplift kind of the regular season games. We were having a really fun kind of offline conversation in the Slack about kind of where the NBA is headed and who the faces are. Luka Doncic is also a guy that when he plays Phoenix, there is no this is just no. Those dudes talk shit like every time we play, and I'm going to murder them. And he does the same thing to the Clippers. The Clippers took me out of a playoff series. Every single time I'm going 3,000 on them. And Luka's kind of stacking up the grudges around the league. Like they're just
I love
continuing
it.
to rise.
I
He has
love
another
it.
one on Tuesday that might be the biggest one. I mean, I'm not sure you can get any bigger one of a person that traded you that's coming up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of connect that because Luka's also one of those dudes that definitely uplifts the regular season, and like he has special matchups that he's excited for. But no, that was cool. Lakers play Denver again, I think in a few weeks. We'll see how that matchup goes. But definitely this is something that LeBron's been eliminated twice by this team. I mean, I think the only other team that can say that is the Nuggets. I mean, not the Warriors. I think the only team that's eliminated twice, if I'm remembering correctly. But
Spurs.
Yes, you're right.
Spurs beat him early when he got to the finals,
Yes.
really early in his career, and then they beat him again when he was on Miami.
Right.
And then the Warriors, and then Denver.
And the Denver, yeah.
And I Celtics.
Did Boston beat him? Oh, right. Yes, because the last game before he left Cleveland and the year before. Oh no, was that? Actually, I'm not remembering correctly. Yeah, I think
I
the
know the
one where
Celtics would. I think they beat him once. I don't know if they beat him twice. But you're Heat lifer, so you would probably know a little bit more about LeBron than maybe I do. But I believe they beat him once, and then they were on track. They were going to beat him again, but he had that game 6 in Boston where he went absolutely maniacal on them. Remember that game?
Yes,
That's one where he stared into the camera like that.
That's his career defining game, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
Like that
Paul
career
Pierce
that
takes
game.
credit for that for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand that guy.
Oh yeah, I don't
Oh
listen to
man.
Paul Pierce. No.
But yeah, I anyway, like we'll get to the X's and O's and stuff like that. But I did really kind of want to start with how refreshing it is in a like very brand aware league that like all of these players and the whole like notion of did the Lakers play harder than the Nuggets? You're damn right they did. And then the Nuggets got punched in the face and punched in the gut, and they didn't know how to respond. They watched Jokic over there. He had no idea how to handle what the Lakers were doing against him. And that entire team folded watching their guy for the first time really that they've ever seen not have any, well, maybe the second, because Dwight did it to him in that playoff series to a certain extent as well. Not that way. But it was the first time in a really, really long time, at the very least, that like Jokic looked like that. And I think that kind of threw the Nuggets out of their identity. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that the Lakers were like, yeah, this mattered to us. This win matters to us. Beating the crap out of them matters to us. And that was like it felt like a tide shifting win, like
Oh yeah.
Luka's here. This is different. And now we get to talk a little bit why it's different and what the Lakers did to make it feel so different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that feels like, all right, tide's going back out now. Things are kind of normalizing.
Before we get into that, I find it fascinating that in Luka's 5th game, he slayed the Denver Dragon. Like I think that's so incredible just for the story, right?
Yeah.
Like Lakers could not beat Denver, and everyone kind of predicted Lakers would lose against the Nuggets. They're still figuring it out. Luka's fat, whatever you want to use as the reasoning, and right away, Luka slays that Dragon. It's just an incredible narrative and story, and he had 12 in the first quarter, and I think 16 at half, which passed his point total already. But I just want to get that in before we dive into, I guess, the reasons why we beat Denver.
Yeah. I don't want to get too technical here, too deep into the weeds or whatever. But like, I don't know, to summarize why it was the Lakers were able to beat the Nuggets, I think this is the starting point. I'll never play that clip too much.
Bye, everyone.